There are discoveries that can feel unsettling to hear, and a famous study by a psychologist named David Buss is definitely one of them. His research pulls back the curtain on something fascinating: how women subconsciously notice tiny things men do, often without either person even realizing it. Some people call it the uncomfortable experiment, not because it's bad, but because it shows a truth that can be hard to accept. Attraction isn't really about the clever things you say. It's about the feeling you create without words. And many guys accidentally create the wrong feeling. They jump into conversations trying to be liked, trying to show they're great, hoping to be picked. They don't know they're playing by a set of rules that doesn't actually work. When they get turned down, it's not because they lack worth. It's because they lack a plan. It's not about being a bad person. It's about not knowing the hidden rules of how connection works. What really holds a man back today isn't the woman. It's the confusing feeling of being accepted or rejected for reasons he can't see. The worry about not being wanted makes your body feel tense and small. The fear of looking unimportant makes you act like you're asking for permission. Wanting a woman's approval can become the center of your world, even if you say it isn't. And the harder you try to make her like you, the worse it gets. This is how the cycle of failure starts. You show your interest before you've made any real impact. You rush forward when everything in nature says you should only move when the time is right. A smart thinker named Robert Greene called this quiet influence. Attraction isn't about winning someone over. It's about shaping how you are seen. It's the skill of using your body language, your timing, your calm presence, and small signals that show who you are before you speak. And David Buss proved this is true. Women notice first what a man's body says when he thinks he's saying nothing. They sense a calm leader inside before they see a bossy leader outside. They feel emotional safety before they feel friendliness. They notice signs of a valuable life before they notice romantic interest. Buss's work shows that a woman's first impression is a check of your inner state, not a test of your morals. The power of this idea starts right here. What attracts a woman is not what you think. It isn't just about being nice. It isn't about working hard. It isn't about clearly stating your hopes. What sparks a woman's interest lives in patterns she doesn't even consciously see, and you're going to learn all about them. Now, what Buss found is tough to hear but also freeing. You don't need a new personality, a different look, or to change who you are. You only need to trigger the right natural instinct in her, an instinct much older than any modern dating advice. In this video, we'll explore Buss's study, the hidden patterns he found, and most importantly, how to use them. You'll learn the error that makes you seem less valuable before you even speak. You'll see how quiet confidence changes her view of you. You'll understand why women are drawn to men with full life, not men who are always free. And you'll learn how to turn your simple presence into a magnet, not just an idea. Real use, not just wishful thinking. This is where how you see yourself starts to shift. By the end, you'll see attraction as a system, and you'll know how to work it. The mistake that stops her interest before you say a word. When a man walks into a room wanting to win over a woman, he is already lost. Most don't see that showing your cards too soon sends a signal of neediness that a woman senses immediately. A woman can tell when a man arrives hoping to be accepted, looking to be seen, wanting to be approved. That feeling shows you started the interaction needing to prove a point, and any need is seen as a weakness. Human nature is very clear here. Before she decides who you are, she checks if you're trying to be chosen. When she senses that, her interest drops. The change begins when you swap your goal for simple presence. You enter a space slowly, without pressure, without showing your desire. You watch first. You steady your stance. Let your calm energy fill the area before your voice does. Not being in a hurry shows you have value. Not being nervous shows you have control. David Buss's work showed something few men grasp. Women react to signs of a worthwhile man, not to big speeches. In his studies, he saw that the female mind looks for tiny clues of emotional calm, inner safety, and quiet standing. It's not about fancy clothes, showing off, or perfect jokes. It's about what your body says when you aren't trying to impress anyone. It's about your pace of talking, your easy posture, how you move through a room without looking for a thumbs up. The practice is clear. Show emotional independence with simple actions. Manage your voice tone. Speak steadily. Fix your posture. Don't let your eyes show worry. Every tiny action communicates inner leadership, and inner leadership is read as value. One of the most overlooked patterns is this. Women notice men who seem to have things going on in their lives. It sounds easy, but it's a big problem for anyone who feels lost. A woman isn't just judging you. She's judging the world you live in. She looks for signs of action, not panic. Signs of direction, not neediness. And men who show they're always available have an empty schedule and focus only on her trigger and instinct to say no. The man with direction doesn't say he has a busy life. He lets little hints show. The rhythm of his walk, a focused look, a presence that says his mind is on his own path. The how-to is simple. Let your life show without effort. Not to amaze her, but to show who you are. Researchers confirm this with science. Women find men more attractive when they see signs of quiet status, not loud status. Trying too hard pushes people away. Being subtle pulls them in. Small comment about your hobbies, your aims, your personal wins do more than any bragging. You don't talk to persuade. You talk to place your energy. How you say it matters more than what you say. When you show you have inner direction, her instinct sees it as value. There's a pattern bus described that sums up how male attraction starts. The cool, calm entrance. It's the opposite of nervous excitement. It's the opposite of the guy who walks in trying to be the most fun. The calm entrance says you're already interesting before any talking starts. It comes from not rushing, not seeming needy, not having over-the-top energy. It's the stance of the man who isn't trying to take over the room. He simply fits in the room. This sparks a woman's natural curiosity. When you arrive without neediness, your value is hinted at through quiet. When you arrive without hurry, mystery builds by itself. When you arrive without offering your intentions, you make her instinct to look for something in you that you didn't advertise. This is the first moment the dynamic changes. It's not about being the best looking, the most outgoing, or the life of the party. It's about fixing the silent error that wrecks your value before you speak. When you get this start right, you stop being seen as just another guy trying to impress. You become a man she feels she needs to figure out. And anything that needs figuring out becomes intriguing. Bus's experiment on quiet social strength. Few men understand the huge effect of the first few seconds of a meeting. Before you say one word, your body has already said everything she uses to size you up. Bus's study showed that submissive tiny actions erase your worth before you get a chance to show yourself. We're not talking about obvious actions, but details you can barely see. Drooping shoulders, shifting eyes, quick motions, a worried face. These signals say you feel beneath the situation. When she sees you shrink from the environment, interest fades. Fixing this needs a quiet, exact, thoughtful change. Shoulders back, straight spine, chin level, steady look, and a posture that naturally says you belong. No words are stronger than the body language of a man who doesn't bend to the room, but settles into it. Bus's ideas go beyond looking strong. He found women are drawn to gentle strength, the kind of authority that doesn't need anger or loudness. The man who tries to force his way, who talks over people, who uses force is seen as unsteady. But the man who leads the interaction smoothly creates a totally different pull. Subtle guidance is what Bus called implicit social power. Setting the pace of the chat, picking subjects naturally, keeping control of your own energy while she follows your lead. It's a quiet dance where you guide without her knowing she's being guided. This skill comes from self-command, not brute force. The practice is easy. Instead of trying to amaze, steer. Instead of filling quiet with chatter, guide with your tone and purpose. The big mistake many make is trying to act like an over-the-top alpha. The guy who talks nonstop, wants all eyes on him, forces his presence, tries to seem better all the time. This kind of dominance is a turnoff because it shows insecurity pretending to be confidence. What really sparks a woman's interest is the quiet planner, the man who watches, understands, and acts carefully. He listens to most of what's said and speaks only when it matters. His questions aren't random. They have a point. He doesn't try to prove his worth. He helps the woman express herself. This balance between listening and talking creates an air of deep, almost mysterious presence. The quiet, secure man is better than any nervous speech, and a woman's instinct reads that quiet is inner strength. Science confirmed what Buss described. Women find men who show responsive strength more attractive. That means power mixed with social awareness. It's not harshness. It's not ego. It's emotional steadiness with care for others. Longer pauses, eye contact that holds, relaxed stance that isn't fake. These things create a presence that leads without needing the boss. It's the style, not the volume. It's the pace, not the push. Real power doesn't come from one big move, but from repeating small, good moves. Whoever masters his own style masters how she sees him. From Buss's analysis, there's one method that changes your psychological edge. The rule of 3 readings. Before you speak, you check 3 things. First, her posture. Open, closed, ready, guarded. Second, the room's vibe. Tense, calm, competitive, safe. Third, the moment's purpose. Is it a place for talking, for watching, for meeting someone? When you adjust to these 3 things before talking, you never arrive at the wrong time. You arrive prepared. And smart preparation is seen as social smarts, a major trigger for attraction. A man who watches before moving shows something very special. Clarity. This idea is the core of Buss's work. It shows that strength isn't about force, noise, or performance. Strength is about accuracy. It's about reading the room. It's about inner control shining outward. When you learn this level of subtlety, you stop comparing yourself to other men. You start playing to her imagination, and her imagination is where true attraction lives. What really turns on female interest? The strategy Buss calls selection by choice. There's a point in attraction that quietly ruins most men's chances, seeming too ready for any woman's attention. When you signal that any female notice is good enough for you, you accidentally remove the main natural trigger Buss found. Women steer clear of men who show emotional hunger. The female instinct reads too much availability as a sign of low social pickiness. It's not mean. It's natural. The way to fix this isn't by faking you don't care, but by having real standards. When you know what kind of woman fits your values, your energy, and your life, you stop running after attention from anyone. That careful choice changes how people see you. The man who is selective is the man who has value. The man who takes anything is the man who loses. Human nature shows something deeper. Women are guided not just by personal taste, but by an unconscious read of the social value a man has. Buss called this selection by choice. A woman isn't only watching you. She's watching how the world treats you. Men who seem to have choices are seen as more desirable because their instinct links this to skill, importance, and social survival. That's why building a good social life isn't a bonus. It's a strategy. Your projects, real friends, activities that grow you, places that test you. Each part builds the unseen story of your value. You become the man who doesn't need female attention to exist, but who gets it because he lives fully. At the heart of this, there's a powerful switch few get. Women don't want to be your only possibility. They want to be your selected possibility. Female desire grows when she feels you aren't acting from loneliness, but from decision. She needs to feel your attention has meaning, that it isn't given out easily. This means managing your time, your energy, your availability, not to play tricks, but to show your life doesn't orbit around her. When she sees you set the pace, the game changes. The man who decides when to show up, when to talk, when to connect, triggers a female instinct to chase. Yes, to chase. When you own your position, she starts to match your movement. Research reinforced this with hard facts. Men who show emotional independence are seen as much more attractive. This isn't just talk. It's biology. The more you react to her little tests with worry, excuses, or over-explaining, the more value you lose. The more you answer with clarity, calm, and steadiness, the more you spark attraction. A woman tests you not to embarrass you, but to see if your calm is real or an act. Each time you show self-control, you stamp on her instinct that you are a secure man, not a clingy one. There's a technique that puts this all together. The controlled scarcity effect. It's not about vanishing, ignoring, or playing games. It's about treating your presence like something valuable. You show up regularly, but not all the time. You are reachable, but not an open book. You are part of her world, but you don't circle her. This balance creates intrigue, and intrigue creates strong attraction. When you control how much attention you give, you control the strength of desire. A woman invests in what she has to figure out, not in what's always handed to her. This is the most important part of the video. If you want to learn how to use each of these ideas in real life, there's a deeper path. In a special guide, I explain the studies, the proven techniques, the psychological checks, the strategic actions, and the daily habits that build real masculine presence. It's not just theories. It's a system. It's practical science applied to everyday living. The link is in the description and the pinned comment. This is the kind of knowledge most men never find. But the man who wants to master his presence must learn. To wrap up, what David Buss revealed with his studies is something few men are brave enough to look at. Women respond to social signals so fine, so automatic, and so exact that most men live their whole lives not knowing they're being judged long before they speak. And this is where a great thinker shows us the key point of this journey. The man who controls himself controls his world. Self-command, presence, posture, strategic quiet, emotional independence, and the skill to show value easily are the real engines of attraction. None of this is about looks or chance. It's about your inner framework. After this, you know something that changes who you are. You know the error that kills your value at the door. You know the biological system that makes the female brain seek tiny signs of psychological strength. You know the gentle strength Buss revealed, which totally changes how a woman sees a man. You know why female choice favors men with options, not men with desperation. And most of all, you know that attraction doesn't grow from struggle. It grows from presence. It grows from the man who has a purpose. It grows from the man who keeps inner control when everything around him is chaotic. Ordinary men are passed over not because they have no value, but because they don't understand. They try to prove. They try to please. They try to rush. They try to impress. And each try shows what truly ruins them: neediness. The man who stands apart is the one who acts with a plan, the one who takes up space without asking, the one who knows how to look before he leaps, the one who sees his own value, and so he chooses carefully, the one who doesn't beg for a connection, but selects it. The one who gets that masculine presence is like building something solid, not just reacting on impulse. From now on, you won't walk into an interaction hoping. You'll walk in seeing clearly. You'll walk in with good timing. You'll walk in with a tuned-in intention. Attraction isn't a game where the one who tries hardest wins. It's a game where the one who understands the unseen rules of female interest wins. And you have just seen these rules clearly. If you want to turn this knowledge into real action, if you want to master female behavior accurately, if you want to use advanced methods, masculine habits, signal reading, tiny actions, natural triggers, and psychological frameworks never taught in regular videos, the next step is simple. In a special guide, I break down the whole system, the system that turns regular men into magnetic people. It's not guessing, not trial and error, not memorized phrases. It's a method. It's behavioral science used for masculine appeal. The link is in the description and the pinned comment. The man who learns this stops being an audience member and becomes the main character. And from this point on, you don't walk in the dark. You walk with skill. If this video helped you see things differently, please like the video. It really helps the channel wins a thought. And let me know in the comments which one idea here made the most sense to you.